Okay, for the first time ever, I'm having some major issues with my drugs, my drug coverage, particularly you, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I'm not going to stand for it.
Hit the subscribe button and the bell notification to become part of the Transplant Helper community.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Transplant Helper today. My name is Jim Merle, and I'm just going to say in the onset, I am aggravated, I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm disturbed, I'm upset, you name it. I'm pretty much experiencing it right now as far as anything other than actually being happy or satisfied. And that's because it's been about 2 hours ago now, I received a phone call from UAB Transplant Pharmacy, which is by far my favorite, most recommended, hands down the best pharmacy I've ever been associated with. As a matter of fact, I've done dozens of programs in passing or about the subject of how important it is that you rely on a great pharmacy to work with you, to deal with you, someone who you can be personal with, someone who you can trust, because your medications as a post-transplant patient are extremely important. You don't need any mistakes, you don't need any problems, you don't need any issues. You just need great treatment. And that's what I've always received at UAB Specialty Pharmacy. And because of that, I always recommend without question that if there's an option at your transplant center to use a specialty pharmacy with them, do it. Forget mail order, forget your local pharmacist, set all that stuff aside, use the one associated with your transplant center, and they're always willing to work with you. And I'll link a video up here if you want more explanation than that. But anyway, UAB Specialty Pharmacy calls me about 2 hours ago. She says, Mr. Merle, how you doing today? Yada, yada, back and forth we go. And she said, Mr. Merle, we're about to fill 2 of your medications. She named off microphenolate as well as Prograf, aka tacrolimus, and she said as we went to fill them, we entered in the information for your new quote-unquote insurance coverage, and they said they are not going to work with us on these drugs. As a matter of fact, that is the insurance company, Blue Cross Blue Shield, recommended that you use this certain mail order pharmacy, which they're gladly going to pay. They'll pay really good for, and they're going to go ahead and send your prescriptions over to them. At least that's what they had requested of UAB Specialty Pharmacy. And she said, I just want to let you know about this so that you'll know that your prescriptions are going to be coming from a different resource from here on out. To that, I immediately said, no, just stop. We're not going to do that. I told the lady on the phone, I said, I absolutely love UAB Specialty Pharmacy. I love you, everybody over there. I love your service. I love what you do for me. And I am not going to leave you under these circumstances. And I went ahead and told her, I said, I realize it's not your problem. It's not your issue. It's the insurance company. And I said, to tell you the truth and to be honest, the way I see it, they're trying to nickel and dime you all to death, which is ultimately going to hurt us both, because I'm not going to be able to get my medications from you like I want to. And then in addition to that, you all are no longer going to have the contract with me to serve me. So everybody loses in this deal except for the insurance company, which I made up a number. And I said, in my estimation, they're probably wanting to give you guys 50 cents for this bottle of tacrolimus or Prograf. And so since y'all won't accept that, they're sending me to this hunk of junk mail order, which I absolutely refuse to do. Now, I get a lot of you watching this video, you already use a mail order pharmacist. And if that's what you do, if that's what you're familiar with, not my cup of tea, but more power to you if you've had good success. But no, I would rather have some who is willing, like UAB, to mail my prescriptions to me and or send them by courier if it's an emergency, and or allow me to pick them up in person, as I've done so many times, when and if it's convenient, when I need them, maybe in a hurry, something like that. Someone who calls me on a weekly basis and says, Mr. Merle, how are you coming on your prescriptions? Do you need anything? Is there anything we can help you with? Is there anything we can fill? Back and forth. That's been going on, folks, for 6.5 years. I've gotten that type of service. Excellent service from UAB. So initially when she tells me this, I said, no, I'm not going to change. I'm sticking with you guys. She repeated again what they had requested, who they wanted me to use. It was a mail order pharmacy that, as she said, had many stores all across the quote country, which again, I'm not dealing with that. She even added that there was one that was pretty local there in Birmingham that I might even get in touch with. I wasn't going to be doing that because this is what the insurance company wants, okay? And I don't do what they say. I'm sick and tired of insurance companies like Blue Cross, I can't even say them, I'm so mad, like Blue Cross or whomever, running all over us, roughshod, trying to force us into doing one thing or another. And I see so many of my friends in the transplant world who are not getting their medications on time. They're not getting them paid for properly. They're landing themselves in the hospital just because they don't have these physical bottles to take it home, so they have to go and be admitted to get their medications. That's absolutely stupid. Do you hear me? That is stupid. And I'm not going to do it. So I carried on the conversation back and forth with her. Finally, again, not at all being upset with UAB. I'm actually really mad at Blue Cross because instead of them having the guts to pick up the phone and tell me that they didn't want to pay UAB and then asking me if I wanted to transfer to their recommended pharmacist, they made UAB do it. UAB was the one that had to make the call. And so I told her, I said, look, I don't have any intentions of moving. Can you please give me a cash price on at least my microphenolate and my Prograf, which were currently being filled by them anyway. I'm a week or so out from running out, and they were happy to send them over. I would have gotten them this afternoon. She turned around, gave me the prices. This one was like, the tacrolimus was like, I don't know, $10, but the microphenolate was like $218. It is January after all. And so I said, I'm not going to really do that, because my initial thought was, I tell you what, I'll teach this insurance company a lesson. I'll pay cash today because I'm refusing to go to their pharmacist. And that's when I realized, wait a minute, if this is all occurring over nickel and diming someone, trying to get the lowest cost medication or lowest cost provider or lowest cost manufacturer, which I despise, then I'm going to be doing Blue Cross a favor if I in turn don't even run it through insurance and pay cash for it. So with that being said, I don't care if the combined cost of both was 55 cents. I couldn't go that route. So here's what I decided. I talked back and forth a little bit longer with UAB Specialty Pharmacy, saw that their hands were tied, at least at this point, which I'm going to fight for you, UAB. And I told the lady on the phone, you fight, we'll fight together. We're not standing for this. But I in turn hung up the phone and I tried to calculate carefully what I would do. So let me tell you what I ended up doing. Now it's been about 2 hours. I've already taken care of all this. I'm not going to let my anger go down with the sun this afternoon. So I went ahead and calculated some different options, some different ideas. Number one, I was not going with a recommended pharmacy. I just soon not have medications. Number two, I'm not going to disappoint UAB if I can help it, because they've always been a huge, tremendous encouragement to me. And then number three, I've got to have my meds. Let's face it, no matter how angry I am or aggravated or put out or whatever, I'm going to have to eventually have these medications filled. I'm not, if you will, in desperate need right now, but that's coming. So what would I do? Here's what I did. And you may or may not approve of this. This is what I've done. One of the things I've been doing in the background, and this has been very calculated if and when this day would come, is that I've been having my major medications like microphenolate, like Prograf, like ditalzine, other of those major anti-rejection / antiviral drugs filled at a specialty pharmacy, UAB Specialty Pharmacy. But all the while, I've been letting my supplements, vitamin D, vitamin C, magnesium, potassium, several other little supplemental medications, I've been allowing that to be filled at the local CVS. Now, I'm typically against the chain pharmacy, and I'm certainly against them as far as mail order goes, but I'm not against the chain pharmacy that has hired a local pharmacist, one that I recognize from out and around town, that lives in my community, who works hard every day for them, who knows me by name when I come in, I walk in the door, he doesn't even have to say anything. He turns around, gets my bags, gets my medications, and hands them to me. That simple, that easy. Where when I pull up in the drive-thru there at CVS, because he is a local homegrown boy, that's just what he is, he looks out the window, or one of his staff look out the window. They don't ask any questions. They know who I am. They know what I'm there for. If there's any issues with that, they call my cell phone and resolve it immediately. If there's any issues, by the time I get to the store, everything gets prioritized, everything gets pushed ahead, and I get wonderful service. Now you might ask to that, well, Jim, why haven't you used them for your other medications, the major medications as you call them? Well, again, just because of supply. They don't stock a lot of this Prograf, microphenolate type stuff. And I've just never really been too confident, not in the pharmacist himself or herself, but in the whole chain, that CVS won't kick in, say, like one of the Dr. Reedy cheapo manufacturers into this. And so I've not been that confident. But here's what I did today. I said, look, I talked to the pharmacist. I got Larry on the phone. I said, hey, Larry, this is Jim Merle. You know my issues. You know, I'm a heart transplant recipient. You know, I got some pretty important medications, most of which I've never filled with CVS before. Here are the issues going on between UAB and my insurance company. And I said point blank, I said, can you get these medications? Can you get them from the same manufacturer I'm already using? Can you fill them at a moment's notice, and will you keep them in stock? Okay, so can you get them? Can you get them from a reliable source? Can you fill them on a moment's notice, and will you keep them in stock? Those 4 things is what I asked. To which he didn't just say yes, which I'm thankful for. He didn't just off the cuff say, sure, we'll take care of you, Jim. You're a good fellow. He didn't say that. He said, let me check. And I hear minutes and minutes of typing away on his little computer screen. And he comes back with each individual medication. And he says, I can get it if, I can get it from there if, and he gives me the whole lowdown on it. And then he says, Jim, if this is what you need to do, we will take care of you. And I know that Larry will take care of me. I absolutely know that he will do that. He will do what he says. He's done what he says with everything else. The Bible says he who is faithful in least is faithful in much. And the idea there, he's been faithful in giving me things like calcium and vitamin D. I think he can do this as well. And he can do it with a personal touch. So rather than give the insurance company the benefit of me being all upset and mad like I was and saying, I'll just pay for it out of pocket, forget you, that doesn't hurt them. That helps them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them pay for them at CVS, all the while secretly in the background knowing a few things. Number 1, I did not use their mail order pharmacy, and I refuse to. Number 2, I've got a personal relationship there that has already been building over the course of years. And number 3, you still going to have to pay for it, Blue Cross. You are still going to have to pay for my medication. So, I ended the day relatively happy. Do I feel bad that for the moment my UAB connection is kind of severed a little bit? Yeah, I feel bad for that. But is that going to be permanent? I don't think so, because I'm going to fight this. But even if it is, I've done the best I know to do, and that is to build a relationship with a pharmacist, even in the way back days, olden days, to build this relationship where there's a trust, a camaraderie, a care that we have between us and the actual personal pharmacist there, and to build that up to the point that now, as I hung up the phone, I'm pretty confident. So then I turned around, called my coordinator, got her on the phone. I told her what was going on as well, told her how disappointed I was. But again, that's not at UAB, that's at Blue Cross, aggravated it with you. And I said, look, go ahead and transfer all my prescriptions over, the important ones, over to CVS where I have this relationship. Get some prescriptions sent over. She's going to write prescriptions for just a month or 2 there while we still battle this out. And at the same time, if I need to, if I get desperate, UAB still has a prescription on file. I can jump over and fill with them, and just work around it or pay cash, whatever. I think I've come to a pretty good conclusion. So even though this all started out with being angry and mad and sad and just drives me crazy, I think I'll win. I really, at the end of the day, I think I'm going to win at this because I found a solution that makes Blue Cross continue to pay for my medication. They're no better off. I stay away from the one they're trying to force me into, and I would encourage you to do the same if possible. And I'm going to have a pocket full of medication. Not a pocket, bottle. I can put them in my pocket. But I'm going to have bottles of medication sitting in front of me here in a few days, all filled, where I can continue to build the wonderful relationship I have. So what is the moral of this story? Number 1, don't be pushed around. Don't ever let your insurance company push you around. Number 2, build relationships whenever possible. You never know when you might need Larry the pharmacist or whatever, in a position where you can use him. And then number 3, live life. man alive, if the worst thing that ever happens to me is that my insurance company didn't want to pay for the pharmacy that I wanted, wham, wham, wham. I've got to go to bed tonight and be happy with my decisions and happy with my choice. I hope and pray this hasn't happened to you, but I know too many times it already has. So comment in the description, in the comments below, and let me know how you've dealt with this, what you've had to do, how big a fight was it, because, hey, I'm still in it for the fight. Blue Cross, we're going to win this. Stay stronger, friends.